Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. My name is Jade, and this is How to App on iOS. Oh, yeah. And today we're going to be talking about unleashing your inner head. Are you a head? Well, today we're going to talk about being a head.
What's the matter, darling?
Oh, I don't know. It's this commercial. It's just too sensible.
Well then, why not try adding some of this?
Dickhead tonight?
Yes, it's the new chicken sauce that makes everyone say,
I feel like a dickhead tonight. Dickhead tonight. Choose from the 6 idiotic flavours that'll have you saying,
Mum, can we have dickhead tonight tomorrow?
Dickhead tonight. The sauce that makes you act like a chicken and look like a dickhead.
Oh, Jesus Christ. What is going on? It is a classic, isn't it, Cold Acre? What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the show. My name is Jade. This is How to App on iOS, where every week I try to entertain you as best as I can and bring some smiles, bring some education, a little bit of music, and maybe an interview with somebody that you may not know stuff about. I'd like to welcome our Ward Warriors to the show. You too can become a Ward Warrior by clicking the button. It does things, it helps and all that. You know what I'm saying? It's a buck. All right, where do we start? We got a little bit of extra time today because normally I would finish the show and send you all over to Peter Johns, but Peter Johns is not doing YML today. That is tomorrow, so things have shifted around. And why has it changed? What's been going on? Where have I been? Firstly, I just want to say thank you all to all of you who allowed me to take some time off. I don't know if I feel better or worse because I did a lot of this over the last 2 days. I drank a lot of beer, a lot more than I normally would. But you know what? Sometimes it's just good to go. Forget work. Go and drink responsibly, of course. Like I didn't get too rolling drunk or, hurt myself or do anything silly. I wasn't. I'll tell you one thing I wasn't. I wasn't a head, all right? That's what I wasn't. Now, there are two forms of heads. All right, we'll cover those soon. So where did I go? What was going on? Well, I'm going to tell you in a second after I say hello to all you kind souls that are here right now. Tremor Bear, what's going on? Audible Video. Speaking of dickheads, there's Audible Video. There he is. Mateus, what's going on? Pookie, I want to thank Pookie. Thank you for helping me have a good weekend. Mwah. That's all I'll say on that. Chris Lane Sr., Princess LDG, she is our featured artist today. We're going to be playing I try and match the music, the featured artist, with the kind of topic. And Princess LDG can be a little bit of a dickhead sometimes. That's not true. You'll understand when I get into why the dickhead thing's there. Mark Bro, Thomas Christ, of course, Ali Gratilla, hello, and Chris Lane. I already said hi to Chris, didn't I, the dickhead? See? Gary Hubbs, Hugh Caldwell. Who else do we see? Greg O'Sullivan's woken up. He's yawning away. Have I missed anyone up top? I know there were lots of people up the top. Let me try and find the people who are right up the top. I saw Live to Fly, Feisty Feather, Roquet. Yeah, I think I've got most of you. If I've missed you, call me a dickhead in the chat. It's Dickhead Day. Dickhead Day. Leela, hello Leela. What's going on? All right, let's scroll back down. Love you too, Pookie. There's Tim, Texas Jackdaw. Hello to you. He's got a song coming out soon, by the way. Cold Acre, what's going on? Good to see you. If you missed the interview I did with Cold Acre just this weekend past, go and check it out. I invited him into my house. He played footsies with me under the desk. And then me and him sat there watching Chris Lane Sr. for the afternoon and Dom Torregrossa doing impersonations of them both and giggling our little asses off. It was a fun time. We really enjoyed your show the other day, Chris Lane. We laughed so much and we were doing impersonations of you both and it was very fun. You guys are very entertaining. Let me tell you that. Andy Goldsby is here. I'll be playing a new track from Andy Goldsby and the Indigo Sunsets on one of the shows this week. All right. And look, here he is, King Dickhead of them all. It's Russ, 8889. Of course, he's got to come in and call everybody a dickhead. Yeah. Thank you, Princess, but you're biased, so I'm not really taking that as gospel right there. All right, so where was I this weekend? What did I do? Where did I disappear to? Well, it was all hush-hush. It was all very secretive, and I disappeared because I wanted to go and hang out with some dickheads. Now, before I say that, let me clarify, dickhead. So, dickhead can mean a lot of things. But I'm going to focus on two things today. Dickhead can be like, God, that guy's an idiot. I really want to. And then there's the dickhead. Oh, he's a dickhead. Oh, what a dickhead. Unbelievable. I love that dickhead. So good and bad, yeah? Dickhead. It's a term of endearment in Australia, and at the same time, you're an idiot. So it can be both. But it's all in the way you say things. This is one of the things I think society has lost over the last maybe 40 years, that we don't take the way people say things, the way they deliver them, right? You can say, you dickhead, and you kind of get the idea, I don't think that guy likes me by the way he said that. But if you go, you're a dickhead, it's all in the delivery, yeah? So it's like being trans. If somebody says, like, you tranny, like, hey, whoa, they use the T slur and they look angry. I think they want to kill me. But if it's just a lovable thing, it's like, oh, you're tranny. You see what I'm saying? So it's all in the way you deliver things. So this weekend, I went and hung out with some dickhead friends of mine. And it was a dickhead convention. Let me tell you that. So let's have a look at some photos of some people I went and hung out with. There you go. So, yes, it was a YouTube dickhead convention right there. So on the left is Mike Enjo. Now, this is very interesting. Mike Enjo, his channel on YouTube is called Creative Source. And out of the three of us idiots there, Mike Enjo, Peter Johns and me, I like to think I'm the dickhead. And Pete's the moderate fence sitter. And this guy here, he's the guy who does all the professional reviews and he's a little bit more pro, But in every photo, look at him with his finger up. He turned out to be the dickhead. Look at him. So we hung out and had some chats and it was really cool to hang out. I've hung out with Pete many, many times. But I'd never met Mike Enjo before, so we got to meet. We got some other photos here. Look at this one. This one, he's not actually sticking his finger up. Hello, Syfan. Yes, Dick Tube, Gary Hubbs. You can see I'm like, get your hand off me, Mike. Don't touch me there, Mike. So, yeah, we went out. We had this was early in the evening before the dickheadery really started, let me tell you. Because, boy, it got kind of dickheadery. There we are, hanging out. The alcohol was starting to. We're on the black beer here, so once me and Pete hit that black beer there, that's when stuff started getting messy. Let me tell you that. And look again, Mike Enjo sticking his finger up. Every photo has to stick his finger up. What is it about this? Crazy stuff. So that's where I have been. This weekend to get away. And then yesterday morning, I did not do Patreon. And so, folks, Patreon, we're going to spin the wheel and put that up on Patreon today. But yesterday, I actually went out. Now, I had one of the most surreal experiences I think I've ever had yesterday. I went out for breakfast with this guy here, Pete Johns. And we, if you can see there, were watching Thomas Christ live while we were out having breakfast. And then we did the most unbelievably weird thing I've ever done. While we were having breakfast, we then watched the opening hour and then the happy hour. And it was very strange watching ourselves being in the chat while we were having breakfast. And we went to this funky little cafe, which turned out, this is so weird, it turned out to be a hotel. And where the tables were, look at these tables, were in such a weird place. They were in the courtyard of where people's rooms were. And I was, see that window behind me, just up here, see this window? I was leaning on this window and had my phone there and we were just talking shit. That was someone's hotel room. I think I woke them up. It was just a weird place. So, yeah. Good times. Really needed the recharge. Oh, yeah, Pete gave you some chocolates too. He bought me some chocolates from Adelaide. What are they called? Fruit chocks. And they're really delicious too, really nice. Yes. So that's what was going on. And yesterday I jumped on Laurie's stream and I did a beer crawl. I went to 5 different pubs and streamed and had a drink. Anyway, that's enough of that. I feel recharged, kind of, sort of. I think I'm still drunk from yesterday. I don't really know. I don't care. But we got some cool stuff coming up this week. Interviews, apps kicking back off tomorrow and all that kind of stuff. So thank you again for allowing me to just piss off and be a dickhead for the weekend. So why are we talking about dickheads today? What is the context of dickheadery? And so music, we're talking about music, and I'm using the word dickhead as being eccentric and being dangerous and taking risks, right? Because I believe, and I've been saying this for a long, long time, I think, again, like I said, with context before about, the way you deliver words, right? The way you deliver words is very important. So, they can either come out as hateful or lovingly and jokingly and stuff like that. But in that same last 40 years, how we've lost the understanding of context, I think also music has lost its danger. Music has lost its risk, its eccentricity, its uniqueness. We don't seem to have these artists that we used to have, the people that just... wow, there'll never be another one of those again. A David Bowie, maybe. Just for an example. It's very hard to think these days because you think mega star musician these days and you think Taylor Swift. And I know there's a lot of Swifties out there. I would never shit on Taylor Swift at all. But there's nothing really like unique or, she's a delightful singer and a very attractive lady and she puts on these great shows, but there isn't anything that's like odd. Where there for a long time has been these artists like Jim Morrison who, had these very strange things that they did, strange rituals or whatever it is. This is the point I'm getting. Hello, Mr. Smith. Is anyone I've missed here? Mr. Smith. Ellen Braddock. Yes, society generally has become dangerously risk averse. Absolutely. Now, there's these places where we need to have risk assessment and stuff like, building sites. You know what I'm saying? Or the automotive industry. Let's not just put cars on the road that we think self-drive and drive off cliffs. But you need to have risk assessment for certain things. But in rock and roll and like theatre, no. For performance and art even. Luckily, I'll tell you the one creative outlet that seems to have maintained its eccentricity, its dickheadedness, is art, right? Art installations still remain to have very unique and broad, crazy installations and stuff like that, because it's a scene that, you know, not all of us go, well, I'm heading out to the gallery this week. So there still is like this place for pretentiousity. Is that a word? It's not a word. But art seems to be the place that it's still able to go. And art is an interesting thing, because art has forever depicted what has been going on with us, right? So some of the most stunning art has come from the Black Plague, right? Where people look at that, and I'm sure there are some people who'd be like, we should ban that art. It's vile. It's disgusting. But that's what was happening. Hundreds and thousands of people were dying from the Black Plague. And art really does reflect what is going on. But has music lost its way in that regard? Has the danger vanished from music? Well, we'll talk about some artists that may fall under this category, because that's what we're here to do, rant, I guess. So I went to NME, the website. Did I say hi to you, Syphon? I hope I did. So, music's most eccentric stars. Now, the first thing I want you to pay attention to is the date. 19th of March, 2010. And it's interesting, when I went looking for more articles, it was pretty hard to find anything in the last 10 years that had any artists in the last 10 years that would fit any of these people that are on this little short list of musicians. So, of course, here's Prince. Right? Prince is definitely one of those people, had some very odd beliefs and stuff. Right? I've said it before. I met Prince once. I didn't really meet him. Like, it wasn't like a, hello, how do you do? Oh, would you like a drink? Like, it wasn't conversational, but I was in the same room as Prince. I was very young. I was recording a demo with one of my early bands at this place. I talked about this on my walk with me, and it was this wonderful old building which had a studio up the top of it, and we were recording a demo. And the guy who was engineering our demo late at night got a phone call, and Prince had just finished a show here in Melbourne, and got a phone call, and apparently Prince had requested to use this studio to come in and bring some musicians from around Melbourne and his own musicians to come in and jam. And so the engineer we were recording with, hung up the phone, looked at us and went, hey, you assholes, get out of here. Prince is coming here. And we were like, that's really funny. And while we were packing up our shit and getting the hell out of there, because we're just worthless 16-year-old kids trying to make metal, Prince rolled up, and he was swamped with like big, beefy, meaty, moot de boot dudes, and they were moot de boots. Let me tell you, I don't know what a moot de boot is, but they're beefy boys, slapped ham. And he was really tiny, and he never said anything. And we were ushered out. We had to walk past him, and you know what? I felt like I couldn't look at him. I felt like I wasn't allowed to look at him. I had to keep my eyes down and not look at Prince because, you know, it's Prince. But so even in that very small exchange, I got the feeling of like eccentricity. That is very eccentric, yeah? So he's on this list, right? Of course, David Bowie. Look at this guy. Look at David Bowie. I mean, even when he was dead, apparently, he was shot into space in a fucking car. Now, I know that's just Elon Musk trying to be as cool, and he never will be because he's, right? He's a bit Elon Musk. But David Bowie, there'll never be another David Bowie. You know what I'm saying? Look at him. Forever, constantly evolving, constantly changing, and being a dickhead. And I remember when I was young and I saw pictures of David Bowie, I was like, who's this dickhead? And look what it says here. There are a myriad of tales of cocaine-crazed madness associated with David Bowie from giving Nazi salutes to subsisting on a diet of nothing but peppers and milk. Eccentric, dangerous, a bit of a dickhead. Yeah, but yeah, Elon Musk is the dickhead. Yeah, the other one. Chad Freeman, hello. Jenny Jolivet, Brad, example. What's going on, Brad? Leanie, did you get my message? I'm hoping this beautiful lady here is going to come on the show for an interview this week. That would be rad. I sent it to you on Instagram. Pete Johns. Well, yes. Well, we'll get to that too. We will talk about that, Pete Johns, because not only can people be the eccentric fun, they can also be the bad dickhead as well. And I'm going to talk about that when interviewing artists and stuff like that. If I have missed you guys, I am sorry. I'm trying to stay focused. So, Lady Gaga, another one. In my opinion, Lady Gaga is one of the last, eccentric people that I can recall in modern times. And even this sucks, man. It's almost like because she is so unique and different, and we have changed as a society, we've almost tried to squash that out of her to the point now that she's so deals with mental health issues and all that kind of stuff that we are not letting that flourish when she's always been just totally out, and I love that. I want to see her with a big meat hat. Why the fuck not? I don't want to see another fucking boy band they all look the fucking same and sound exactly the same, and they're just saying, "Oh baby, I love you." It's we know you love her, but you're a dickhead, not the good one. But Lady Gaga, absolutely, just it's utterly unique, and I don't know what to say about this one because you do your own research. Obviously, a fantastic musician, but the amount of drama around this human being, and this is while we're talking about Michael Jackson, let's talk about this too. Within the music industry, I believe, and you don't have to, think that I'm speaking the truth here, but I feel that maybe some of these people don't have the amount of eccentricity that we're led to believe. Remember, in the industry, right, there are marketing teams that will do anything to keep people in the limelight, right? Do we really know that Michael Jackson has the Elephant Man's bones? You get the drift that I'm going down here. Sometimes when something eccentric comes out, well, let's just go with it and make up a whole flourish of shit that can never be proven, that can never be dispelled. And artists, don't really talk about it and go, "Oh yeah, I do have the corpse of a deformed man in my basement." And why would you? Why would you need to admit that, even if you did have it, right? And be it whatever you think of Michael Jackson, that's up to you. I'm not here to say anything, but we've all heard the crazy stuff about it. It's each to your own. That's it. I mean, I did the moonwalk when I was young. Brian Wilson, another one. Right? I remember growing up and thinking, man, the Pet Shop Boys seem so navel gazy. They seem so fucking boring. And I don't know, surfy beach songs, I don't really. And then I heard Pet Sounds and was like, good Lord, this dude is off his guts. And it turns out, I the more I found out about the Pet Shop Boys, Brian Wilson is just an absolute nutter. I mean, the Pet Sounds, did I say Pet Shop Boys? Or Beach Boys? See what happens when you talk about Michael Jackson and the next thing artist is the word boys in it? You get off. Yeah, that was a joke. Falcro, what's happening? Forest of the Wolf, g'day. But Brian Wilson, has anybody seen that film of Brian Wilson? It's the Beach Boys documentary kind of movie thing. I think it was a TV movie, right? Pet Shop Boys. Anyway, I'm a dickhead, right? We've established that. So just relax. So, but has anybody seen that documentary movie about the Beach Boys? And while Brian Wilson was recording Pet Sounds, he had a sand pit in his house, and he would have his feet in the sand to bring back that feeling of the beach. Meanwhile, other band members were hanging out with the Manson family. The fucking Manson family. What's going on? Am I thinking of the right band, or am I thinking of The Doors? I can't remember. I think I'm still drunk. Who else is on here? But the Beach Boys were just wild, man. Yeah, well, this is the thing. How do we know who's mentally ill and not? You know, we're not the psychiatrists of these people. We get fed. We get pole vault. What's going on? We get fed what we get fed, and some of it, man. There's a lot of evil out there too. People trying to destroy people's careers. Deep Gravity. What's going on? All right. Where am I here? So who's this? I don't even know who this is. The Knife are a pretty weird band. I've never heard of The Knife. Those masks should be a clue. Wow, that's all it takes to be weird? Okay. Okay, here we go. Dexy's Midnight Runners. Now, yes, but look at this. This is going to lead me to a whole bunch of musicians from the 80s. Boy George, Marilyn, all these artists from the 80s. Remember what was going on? Does anybody remember what was happening in the 80s? Because somewhere, everyone was just a dickhead. And it was like everybody had stuffed their nose into a bag of cocaine. And it was like, let's go. Right? Hulk Hogan. Everyone looked like Hulk Hogan in the 80s. They all had feather boas. They all, did crazy things, but to dress up like a woman back then was like considered the thing. Boy George, Marilyn, nobody made an issue about it, did they? People made Boy George a multi-platinum selling artist, and nobody knew what the fuck he was, right? Nobody knew what he was, but nobody got hyper upset about it. Maybe some homophobes were like, "I'm going to get that Boy George mood and what." And then something happened again, in this period of time where people got so worked up. Oh, yeah, that's what happened. I watched a video last night. Who was it who was saying it? That transgender people only began 30 years ago. We only morphed into existence 30 years ago. Man, there are some fucking dickheads in this world. But how many times have you seen an artist, a major rock star, male rock star, come on stage in a dress? It's been done so many effing times that it's just so pedestrian these days. I've seen Kurt Cobain. You've seen everybody do it. But for a time, that was a thing that was like, look how eccentric I am. Look, I'm dangerous. I'm living on the edge. I have cloth from another sex's body on mine. Look at me. Look how weird I am. Now, I don't agree with this one. I just think this guy is a dickhead, like an utter dickhead. So this should be under the dickhead thing. You know what I'm saying? I didn't. Is anybody else looking at his bandana right now? Anyone? So Axl Rose, not really. I don't know. I didn't think he was very unique. I just thought he was a whiny little bitch. Lee Scratch Perry, unorthodox in the studio techniques. See, now this is completely different because this is, I love this. During one recording session, he was spotted walking backward. That's all it took then to, but look at the getup. Look at this. If you saw an artist these days appear on your morning television show dressed like that, what would you think? What would you think? I think most people these days would go, what's going on there? Right? Because people are very, very strange. Jim Morrison. Now, Jim Morrison, a lot of drugs involved in that. Yeah, the other dickhead. The other dickhead. We're at the halfway mark, so I have to do the thing. Leanie. Thank you, Leanie. We have to do the thing. We have to do the advert. So we have to do our messages for YouTube. So let me do that now. I'll come over here. Let's do it. So at the midway point of every show, YouTube force me. They force me. They just play the ad, idiot. No more. So I run the ad. If you've got YouTube Premium, you can avoid the ad. If not, we'll wait for you to come back by running our own ad. And when you're ready, when you come back from your ad, we'll be good to go. So let's do this. Let's give everybody an ad just in case you missed it at the start. Today's show here is sponsored by Dickhead Tonight. Okay, let's go.
What's the matter, darling?
Oh, I don't know. It's this commercial. It's just too sensible.
Well then, why not try adding some of this?
Dickhead Tonight?
Yes, it's the new chicken sauce that makes everyone say,
Dickhead Tonight. Choose from 6 idiotic flavours that'll have you saying...
Mum, can we have Dickhead tonight?
Dickhead Tonight, the sauce that makes you act like a chicken and look like a dickhead.
All right. Do you feel like a dickhead tonight? Where was I? We're over here talking about Jim Morrison. Man, Jim Morrison was it's hard. I think Jim Morrison fell into both sides of the dickhead. I think he was like a real like shithead. He did a lot of horrible things to people, and but this is what happens when drug use is involved. Because Jim Morrison, I mean, love him or hate him, I was obsessed by him for a period of time in my life. I thought he was this amazing poet, and he touched my soul. I don't know what was. I think it's because I was on drugs myself. But you can't deny that the music that he was making at the time with his band were dangerous. It was dangerous. They were getting banned. They were getting torn off stages. Police were coming in with truncheons and taking people off the stage. I mean, it was causing chaos. The Doors, I mean, the Beatles were over one side with girls screaming and throwing their knickers and all this. And it's very clean, the Beatles. And then over here you had the grubby old Doors, the drug addict, the demon over here who stunk like crap, never washed his clothes, look at him with his filthy old leather pants, right? But, you know, the people... love or hate, you know, but eccentric, he stood out. That's the thing, right? Love this. Look at what it says underneath. Poor Peter Green. What a way to start something. What a way to start. Paul Peter Green, a brilliant blues guitarist. If he'd stuck with Fleetwood Mac, he would have enjoyed immense fame and fortune. Instead, he lost his mind after an acid trip in 1970. Spent 25 years enduring electroshock therapy and taking mind-deadening psychiatric drugs that made his brain feel like a brick wall. Fuck, man. I'm so depressed after reading that. How is he in there? Oh. Sly Stone recorded some great funk music of all time, powered by mountains of cocaine and PCP. Now, see, some of these artists I don't agree with because a lot of this is fueled by drugs and just crazy, fuel, you know, unbridled, ridiculous shit. Wu-Tang Clan, but I'm scrolling down to the bottom here. Here's somebody who I think is... There you go. Here is one of those artists. Here is one of these artists who continues today to be absolutely a tightrope walker. Just everything she does is dangerous. Yeah, Syd Barrett should be in here. Absolutely. And I did see a comment about Axl Rose's bandana before. I just forgot to click on it. Here we are with... Björk. And about Björk, look, she even released an album as an app on iOS. Like, it's just an app. It's a whole album that was only available as an app, right? So you downloaded the app and you experienced this album on the app, and it was all these distant galaxies and stuff. I think I still have it. You can't buy it anymore, but you can still download it if you own it. I can't play it on here because I'll get a copyright claim. But Björk continues to be absolutely unique. And look, this is only a very short list because there are a lot of eccentric people who still do exist, but it just feels like there's not many being made. It feels like if you are, you are being squashed, right? And I don't know why that is. Yeah, Les Claypool and there's so many we can talk about that live dangerously, and that is the thing. I feel like music has lost its danger. It's lost its there's no risk, and some of the best music was risky, But why is it? Why is this? Why is it? Let's have a look at what this dude reckons. Benjamin Groff, he's written some stuff, an article here called Why Music Sucks So Hard Right Now. Yes, I agree with that, Thomas. All the weird artists are on Bandcamp now. It's true. It's true. So, why? Technology is I don't agree with this. There's a lot of stuff I don't agree with this. Technology is in the hands of everyone. And yes, for music, I think that is actually a bad thing. Wow, that's a really shit take. That's a dickhead take. I don't agree. So here's the thing he says here. $500,000 studio can exist on your laptop for about $500. Why is that a bad thing? That people have the control over their own destiny. This is making, of course, there's always been shitty music. Even with just $500,000 studios, there's always been shitty music. Yeah, Frank Zappa belonged on there. Mike Patton, look, there's so many. But you get the gist. That's the point we're making. But even with huge studios, a lot of shit music came out. And a lot of shit music moved to the wayside and never got popular, right? It says, so the next one on here, let me just find it, because this one's a little bit long. Zero label development for artists. It's an interesting take, again, because is that a bad thing? Is this the reason that artists have lost their danger, lost their risk, that that labels don't work the way they used to? Because I don't know. Here it says here, I don't think this is a plus. Labels were in it for the long haul and knew it might take up to 4 album cycles or 4 touring cycles for somebody to break out. This is what happened to Bruce Springsteen. But on the same token, there was a lot of artists who released groundbreaking killer debut albums, and then everything they did afterwards, nobody gave a shit about, right? Counting Crows, a fine example of that. And we've all heard these things about, like, back in the day when artists were signed to labels. If they have a hit album, then the label turns around and goes, well, we want that album again. And how many bands have done this? U2, Faith No More. Look, there's so many bands that have done this when they've been told, we want this album, that has generated so much money for us. We want you to do that album again. They have gone in another direction and just gone, no. Has it always worked? No. Of course not. It doesn't always work. Sometimes it's the death of an artist, but it's that risk that you take. And if you are big enough, at that point that you take a risk like that, you still will have your loyal fans that will stick with you no matter how shit you get or whatever direction you take, right? So being signed to a label for 4 albums wasn't always the thing that's going to like make your times very happy, because you know they will dictate you what they want, because no label wants to put money into a sinking ship. Number 3, no 10,000 hours invested from new artists. For the most part, today's artists have no chops nor incentive to have them. Why did I pick this guy's takes? Because they're very interesting. In 1976, someone like Prince or anyone of that era had to seriously shed, practice, refine their craft, and put in their obsessive 10,000 hours before. All right, so we're talking about paying your dues here, right? Had to put in the work, had to make practice to be professional and get good. Are we in the era now that the equipment, the technology that we have, the supercomputer in our hands can make us all sound amazing when we're not, that we don't need to practice? We've got things that can just fix things in the mix, which I always tell you, if you're writing music and you're fixing things in the mix, you need to fix that. It's wrong. Fix it at the source. All right? So skills. This is now not every eccentric artist. I left Madonna out of there. But think about Madonna. She, absolutely groundbreaking for her time, right? The 80s had a lot of very groundbreaking artists as well, and that is in the pop world. Today's new music role models pretty much suck. Does anybody agree with this? Does anybody have role models in music anymore? Does anybody look towards an artist and go, I want to live like them? Because let's pull back the curtain a little bit here. How happy are musicians, successful musicians? Because I don't know. It seems like I'm just throwing darts in the dark right here. I don't know. I obviously don't know what I'm talking about. I'm just going out on a limb. Hear me out with this. It seems like a lot of popular artists aren't very happy with their lives. Sure, they got money, but they're really depressed. La, 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 la. So, are they role models? What should they be role models? Should we be looking up to like these people? Does it matter who they vote for or what they think is are they? But this is the thing: are they role models? I don't know. There are musicians that I love and I love to listen to, and I think they're fucking amazing, and their music makes me go crazy. But I've interviewed a lot of artists over the years, and let me tell you how hard this is on a couple of things. Let's just stick on this for a moment, on role models. And I've interviewed some very, very big musicians and actors and comedians before doing this, of course, you know. So this is why I interview people on here. I hope I have the chops to do it just from my experience interviewing big celebrities in my past. I've interviewed Metallica and Faith No More and Kylie Minogue. I've interviewed some big comedians and people in film and theatre. So just because you like what they do doesn't mean that they aren't a because there's right. And I've met some people that I looked up to and maybe idolized a little bit. And Henry Rollins, let's talk about, I'm just going to name drop an interview I did with Henry Rollins, right? So we teed up the interview. I was only 18 years old. We teed up the interview with their record label. Me and my friend, we were doing a fanzine at the time, and they dragged us to the venue he was playing that night, and he was having a sound check at 3 p.m. So we roll up, we walk into the venue, and there's music playing on the stage, and they're testing the lights. There's no one in the the venue, and Rollins is in the middle of the venue by himself, going and headbanging. And we walk in the door and look at him and go, bit of a dickhead, right? And anyway, finally, he looks over to us and gestures to us, and we're allowed to do the interview with him. We went outside into a laneway, and we're in the laneway, and he was leaning against the wall, acting tough, and stupidly, my partner in crime, the first question he asked him was, so tonight, are you going to play any Black Flag songs? And it's known, man, don't mention Black Flag to Henry Rollins. Now, he didn't know that. I knew that. But unfortunately, let's run through how Henry Rollins reacted. Well, he reacted the way you would expect. He grabbed my friend by the throat and held him up against the wall with his fist towards his face, saying, don't ever mention Black Flag. Interview over, and then stormed off. Now, forever and a day, when I see Henry Rollins, I think, what a fucking dickhead. Like, I'll never forget that interaction. Was he a role model beforehand? No, he shouldn't be. I don't fucking know him. I don't know, if he's a decent person down inside. But I remember that interaction, and I think, I still like his music. It is what it is. But when you have artists and you worship them and treat them like role models, you may not align with some of the things that they say or do. And, that comes down to them being dickheads, or good eccentric dickheads, or utter dickheads. And when I interview people, I don't know what people are going to say. And I, even here on YouTube, even in this community, I have people on the show, and we've all got our different belief systems and what we hold dear to us, and our political things these days and all this shit. So it's a bit of a minefield. You might like somebody, and then you hear them interviewed, and then you think, wow, that dude's opinions and stuff is just shit. I don't like them anymore. So, role model stuff, you never meet your idols. Instead, murder them. No, don't do that. Major labels are in a feeding frenzy to sign the latest data research. See, that one's interesting to me because that's what they're all about. Everything's about data retention, data research, not about, is this artist something unique and something that the kids will love today? No, show us the data. Give us the data on this artist. What are they generating? Can we get a spreadsheet on the numbers around this artist? I don't really care if they wear a funky glove on one hand. Times were simpler because they want to know market share. They want to know how many clicks and views. They want to know, right? They want to get into your social media accounts and find out how you're engaging with people. They want to get all that data, and they want to collate it to try and work out demographics and flow charts and all this bullshit. And that's when the danger's gone, man. That's when the dickheadery is gone. And then we have, again, I'm not shitting on Taylor Swift. Who's the other guy? Ed Sheeran. See, now, what I say here doesn't matter, right? I can't stand his music. I just don't like it. That's just me. Don't get offended, all right? If you're getting offended right now, fucking don't. Don't be a dickhead. I just find him to be absolute homogenized milk, just utter navel gazing. This just fucking the most bland human being, right? That's just me, right? But that seems to be the artist. That is the thing these days, the artist of just, dude, you just went up 100% in my book. I'd love a good single glove pole vault. Have you ever been to the proctologist and watched them put it on and go, oh, good old single, that's a bit cold. Brad, you know what I'm saying? Anyway, I'm getting off the point here, like always. What time we got? We can go a little bit over today because Pete's not ramming up my rear, speaking of proctology. Teams of excellence and quality control are gone. See, this guy's really bitter about independent artists. This guy, this Benjamin Groff, he fucking hates us, right? He hates us. Teams of excellence and quality control. In the golden era, you had a team of excellence based around a music project. Really? Really? Explain Saint Anger by Metallica. Where was the fucking quality control for Lars Ulrich's snare drum on Saint Anger? Jesus Christ. Let's look at the biggest and arguably best pop album of all time, Michael Jackson's Thriller. Do you think Michael Jackson himself sat down and solely wrote those songs? Well, this is a different thing in itself. You know, not all artists write their own songs. Saint Anger, sorry. I got sidetracked with a joke, Saint Anger. Music creation is now in the hands of the uninspired and doing it for likes. Well, this is a thing too, you know. I think it's a bit deeper than that, though. I think this is one of the, yeah. Well, at least you didn't have to pay for it, Clay. I paid for mine. You know why I paid for it? Because I read an interview with Lars and he said, oh, man, this new Metallica is going to be like Meshuggah. I was like, Metallica like Meshuggah? What? I got to hear this. And guess what? It wasn't like Meshuggah at all. Rhett James's song sounds more like Meshuggah. You know, when he says Meshuggah, 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 Meshuggah. But here's another thing too. This is I think a thing that's killing. So I'm on it with this one. I think this is killing the danger in music and the uniqueness, the all this kind of stuff we're talking about. It's the short form content and the desperation for likes and things like that. This is what's doing it, because content seems to be shrinking. We're getting smaller and smaller content, smaller bite-sized pieces. So there's no room to be eccentric. There's no room to be unique. There's just this bite size of this thing that just is this moment, and people go, oh, well, I'm bored of that. I mean, think about it. People will watch a short that goes for 40 seconds and get bored in 10 and move along. You really have to be able to capture somebody's fucking attention in 3 seconds or you're fucked these days. I don't know why. Like I know time is a very valuable, precious commodity in this world. I wish I had so much more of it. But you can't like give 30 seconds to let a small Instagram clip develop. I'm going to give it 3 seconds. If it doesn't develop, I'm out of here. I'm not. 3 seconds, I'm gone. 3 seconds, not enough. Some of the most astounding albums, movies, pieces of literary, novels, theatre, these things took years to develop, skills to learn, you know, education, practice, all this kind of stuff. And you could go and learn all this stuff. You could go to music college and do all this shit, right? Or whatever it is. And then you release some video and somebody gives you 3 seconds, and your fate is decided in 3 seconds of somebody watching. Today's artists aren't ready for live shows. Who here out of this community is ready to do a live show right now? Would you be able to perform on stage right now? Let me know in the chat. Would you be able to? I'm ready. Somebody gives me a gig tomorrow, I'll do it. Will I be note for note perfect? Will it be amazing? I don't know. But I probably won't need to practice too much. I'm Ron ready to go right now. Do you think you are Ron ready to go to play a gig in front of people, to grab a guitar, grab an instrument, have your backing track, whatever it is, how you're going to perform? Can you do that? Is this true? Are today's artists not ready for live show? I know he is. I know you could. Yeah. Yeah. I know you could. absolutely. I reckon Brad could. Oh, you can, Deep Gravity. I've seen you perform. You've been performing last year. You can't even get a song out audible, so don't even start me. Nope, live gig is out of the question for me for so many reasons. Says Mark, I can doodle a bit on the piano. I could perform on I could perform on stage, but not music. I could paint a gig, yeah. It'd be a mess. Oh, Pookie. Shall I tell them about the videos you've been? No. Is there anything else on this list? I don't think there's too much here. So from here. I did read this article. This was something I read from a while ago, actually. This was because I'm really into risk assessment and music, yeah? I'll give you. So let's dive into my little thing and tell you a bit more about me as a musician. Now, hang on. Let me have a drink. I want to say also thank you to the 40 odd people for hanging out and listening to me talk a load of nonsense here on this show. So hopefully some of this is resonating. I don't know what I'm trying to achieve by doing these rants, but it's fun to talk about this stuff, I think. When I was a youngster, I didn't go out of my way to be eccentric. It wasn't a thing that I got up and every day and went, you know what? If I do this, everybody will think I stand out. But at the same time, yes, I agree with this, Kim. Not all artists are performers, some are producers, so going live is not a thing. Yes. I used to get told by people all the time, you're very eccentric and you're very unpredictable and you take a lot of risks, to me. And I didn't see that because I just did what, and a lot of the times it was very stupid things that I did. Let me tell you, I did a lot of fucking stupid things and I recommend don't follow some of the things I did. But at the same time, in my head, and tell me if you've been here, I used to look at other artists or just people in general at school as a kid and go, why does that kid just feel like they have natural cool? Like whatever they wear works and they just look cool. Could I pull that off? And then if I ever like tried to mimic someone like that and go, I'm going to try and look like that, it failed and I look like a fucking idiot. But always, I used to look at other people and think they were so cool and so effortless. How are you so effortlessly cool? And not all the people around thought that they were effortlessly cool. A lot of people used to punch them because if you were unique, you used to get kind of bullied a little bit for being different, which is ironic because you look at it now and you think, oh man, now I know why people used to punch those people because they just were jealous and wanted to be like that. And they were just so bland that the stupid peanut brains didn't fucking understand it. But on stage, I've done some dumb things. I cut my arm open with a machete. At a gig, I still have a scar across my arm. I've got multiple scars up. See this scar here on my eye? This was from headbutting somebody in the audience. They kept grabbing my mic lead, so I leaned down and I grabbed them by the hair and I headbutted them and I split my eye open. I've done a lot of stupid things on stage. I've urinated into a bottle on stage. I have. I've smashed computers on stage. I've thrown things at people. A guy got up on stage in Adelaide at an FMC gig and punched me in the face. Just got up and went, I fucking hate you, and punched me in the face. And then everybody in the audience jumped on him and started punching him. Yeah. I'll tell you the reason that guy probably punched me in the face. We went on the way to the gig. We were going to Adelaide, and this is my band, Filthy Maggoty Cunt, FMC. And I was a baker at the time, and I baked these penis bread rolls with little balls on them. And my idea was to go to this gig with this big brown bag of dick bread rolls and throw them out to the crowd and then watch the idiots in the crowd with their beer chewing on a dick. And in my mind, I thought that was funny. And it was, let me tell you. When you're up on stage and you've just thrown out a bunch of homemade penis bread rolls to the audience, and there's all these metalheads looking tough with their beer going and chewing on it, something that's shaped like a dick, it was funny. Unfortunately, one guy didn't think it was funny. And that guy decided to jump up on stage and punch me in the head. But, so, don't be me. But at the same time, I don't see this anymore in musicians. These are the things that like I would remember from gigs, because you can go and see a million bands and everything's been done before musically, you know. And sometimes it's the image and stuff and the eccentricity and the silliness that prevails that helps you get into bands and stuff like that. So yeah, I was always a bit of a rebel and always tried to do silly things. It wasn't that I tried, it was just this is something that popped into my head. In FMC, we all dressed in drag all the time. And, you know, we had characters that would come on stage that we'd punch up. And, God, we even had a guy in the band called Workman who would just come up in work gear in a high-vis jacket and he'd just stand there with a stop sign. And after every song, he'd go, and spin the sign. And to us, we thought it was fucking hilarious. And people would talk about it because it was something unique. It was something silly. It was something different. But again, it just feels like music's lost its funk. It's lost its spunk. It's, yeah. So this is my opinion. I think the last thing I want to ask is, do you think you're eccentric? And I'm asking you, watching on the replay or here now. Do you think you're eccentric? Because I've got a psychiatric evaluation here. In a study of sanity and strangeness. Yeah? So, psychiatrist David Weeks explains that eccentrics are physically healthier and significantly happier than normal people. He notes that eccentrics are wildly diverse yet share common characteristics. Here are his 25 descriptors of eccentricity, listed in descending order of importance. Oh, here we go. Like whenever I hear somebody say normal, I get worried because what is normal? What is normal? There's literally a man in Southeast Asia who's turning into a tree. Right? What is normal? Have you seen this guy? Let me see if I can find him. Is it Tree Man Syndrome? Is that what it's called? Yeah, look. I'll turn the sound down in case I don't get a copyright claim. Because it's probably got music. Have you seen this guy? There's a few of them. Look. Now, this literally isn't a tree, but the way it grows is like, look. So this is my thing about normal. People go, that's not normal. But it happens. And it's happened many times. This isn't the first guy who's like almost growing bark out of his arms. There's multiple people that this has happened to. So is this normal? What is normal? Normal is such a strange term. You know? Look how many there are. So this is Bangladesh. There's ones in Indonesia I've seen. The shocking true story of the tree man. So let's just oge back over here. So normal. Now these are the signs of eccentricity. Yeah. So hello Laurie, what's going on? Sorry I couldn't hang yesterday. My internet was screwed while I was out, but I had to disappear. Enduring nonconformity, creativity, strongly motivated by an exceedingly powerful curiosity and related exploratory behavior. Yes, exploratory. By proctologist, an enduring and distinct feeling of differentness from others, idealism, happily obsessed, with a number of long-lasting preoccupations, usually about 5 or 6, intelligent, opinionated and outspoken. See, this is the thing with this centricity. You're going to get all these things with it, and some of the things that people's opinions you're not going to align with. So it's interesting now that we are in this, because we're deep, we're thick in this era at the moment, that if we see an artist that we've loved forever and then they say one thing that you disagree with, then you hate them. They're done. You no longer listen to that artist anymore. Where here's the thing, which I try to be fair about with this stuff. If somebody's opinion is a shit take, right, like that, or somebody that you've followed for years and they open their mouth and they say something that's shit, it doesn't mean you have to condemn them forever. Because guess what? People change ideas, you know? Sometimes we go down the wrong path to others, and sometimes... But even if somebody goes down the wrong path, like myself, I fell into a lot of really fucking strange conspiracy theories at one point, which were absolutely idiotic. But I was able to drag myself out of that stuff and get back on track. People can pull themselves out of things. So just because an artist has a belief at one time doesn't mean that that's going to be there forever. And I'm not heading into cancel culture or any of this kind of stuff, but it's a hard thing too when you interview artists like myself. Like I said before, you have people on and people can think some weird shit and they can think some beautiful things. And they can change. Hot takes that are probably dangerous at a time can change. You know, it just depends. Normally, if they have a life-threatening scare or something, that normally fixes people. So just the next time you're around somebody who has a really shit take, just go boo, and that'll scare them back to reality. This one I like, non-competitive. I don't know about that. I don't think I'm very competitive. I don't compare myself to other people too much. I mean, you know, that's one of the things about being unique naturally, isn't it? Like when I was young, I used to compare myself and go, why can't I be? And then over time, people would say, you're pretty weird. I've never met anyone like you. So for all that time I used to spend looking at somebody else going, why can't I be that naturally cool? There were other people looking at me going, why can't I be that cool? So it's all, you know. Did it work, Indy? All right, I'm kind of floundering now and gone off track a little bit. So look, I think the point I'm trying to say is embrace your inner weirdness. Yeah? Do something outside the box. Try something new musically. Do something you haven't done before. Don't lock yourself into this is me, this is what I do. Go with the flow and experiment, right? Try things out. If they don't work, they just don't work and you just don't do it again. Right? Just have fun with music and try and just be a little more dangerous, be a bit more of a risk taker. You know, this work cover isn't monitoring you to make sure you're following all the rules. The best music has no rules. We shouldn't have rules, man, for music. We already have a circle of fifths and we have, you know, all these set scales and things like that. So the music already has a set of rules that we can't break. But within that set of rules, there's you. And you're not a scale. You're not a note. You're not a beat. Right? You're you. And it's you that brings the sound and the scales and the circle of fifths to life. And if you're just plodding along, suppressing who you are, then nobody's going to find your music interesting, right? Nobody's going to identify with you. Just be raw, be honest, be painful, be happy. Be it all and express the absolute fuck out of it. And if you want to wear one glove on your hand, right, and you want to wear sunglasses that have pictures of a dick on the front, and you want to wear doilies for hats and tissue boxes for shoes, I don't give a fuck. Be a dickhead. Embrace your inner dickhead, my friends. If you're going to get on YouTube and perform and be authentically a dickhead, laugh at yourself, have fun, right? That's what it's all about. It's not about likes and views. That's bullshit. Just have fun. All right, I'm going to get out of here. We got some cool stuff coming up here on the channel this week. Some fun apps which will be up on the channel in the next few hours. I'm going out to dinner tonight with a friend who I'm very excited about. So I'm looking forward to that. I want to thank you all for being here today and hanging out. We've got a featured artist. Here's someone, I chose today's featured artist who I think is really unique and I think is developing as an artist right now. And from the time I've known her, I'm seeing her actually mature into an artist and try new things, step outside the box. From the moment I've met this artist, she's always asking questions and she's a sponge and she just wants to be better. And I'm sure you'll agree with me. Princess LDG is utterly unique. And her brand new song dropped today, which I know, or a couple of days ago, which I know she put a hell of a lot of work into. Hell of a lot of work into. I think it was like 100 odd tracks in Logic. So let's go out and play this. Remember, guys, do the things that make you happy. Mistakes make you better, and we'll all rise together and just be a dickhead. This is Princess LDG. Brand new song called Pack Your Things and Go. We'll see you tomorrow. Boom. Boom.
And I've been blind, and all love's been a lie. And I've seen your true colors this time. In black and white, no life, and all about die. Na 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 na. And pack your